Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to show you how to install the Tim Percy single motor mount. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to install the Tim Percy single motor mount. This is going to be going on my Hobie Pro Angler 360. This is the PA12. So the mount actually doesn't come with any instructions, so that's kind of why I wanted to make this video for anybody that wants to see how to put it together. It's not hard to do, but I did have to do a little bit of research before trying to put it together, you know, just looking at the pictures and such, but it's not that hard to do. The nice thing with the Tim Percy motor mount is it's pretty light. Compared to the other mount that's metal, it's like half the amount of weight. I was just trying to look for something that's a little bit lighter, because I know the motor I'm going to be putting on here is fairly heavy, so I didn't want to have too much of a load on there, because I do load it onto the back of my truck. There's another reason why I didn't go with that other mounts as well. So I'm going to show you guys everything that comes with the mounts. This is just the part that lays on to the Pro Angler, but there's some additional pieces as well. So it has all the hardware that you need for it, from the bolts and the screws, washers, and such. The kit actually that I had, it might have just been missing. It did not have the screws that screw into the back area here where the rudder plate is. And I did have to actually go out and find those. The screws that I found that work are 10 32nd screws. This is, I think, yeah, this one's a 3/4 inch. So 10 32nd 3/4 inch screw that fits perfectly with the mount and will attach to the, or will screw down into the screw holes that are here by the rudder plate. So the one thing I saw different with the screws is that it came with these screws that have that square, like kind of the square fitting on it, so it wouldn't work with like a Phillips head. But I did notice one of them actually did have a Phillips head on it. This one actually. So just be aware of that. The Phillips screwdriver I'm using actually does fit in these little square fittings just fine. But it may not for you, so you'll either have to find screwdriver that will work with it, or just simply replace them. You go to the hardware store and find it with the Phillips on it. So it also does come with this piece, which you'll see later. This actually is how it attaches to the rail on the back, and then it has a little piece right here. So it attaches just like that, and that's how it's actually gonna hook to the back handle of the Pro Angler. So here's a look at the mount itself. You can see on the back here, or I guess this would be the front, because this is actually what would attach to the rudder plate screws. You can see that it has two sets of screws. So the set here on the top, that's actually what you would use if you had a Pro Angler 14. And then in my case, I'll be using this one here, which will fit on the Pro Angler 12. And then now, if you go towards the back, this is actually where you would attach your mounts. You can see there are 8 holes here. Is that it? Yeah, there's 8 holes. Or you can either attach a motor to it, or you can also attach a power pole as well. And then on the very back, you'll notice the 4 screw holes here. And that is actually how you're going to attach this piece that I showed you earlier. It's going to actually just attach like so, and then you screw it down. And then on the back side, I'm not sure what this is for, but there is a little cutout there. But you'll see on the back of those 8 holes, the big holes where you'd mount either the power pole or the motor itself, you can see that the 4 of these are actually recessed. And the reason they're recessed is it allows you to take the bolts that it comes with. The bolts will actually fit right in. And I'm not sure if you can see, but the little hole that's there is actually square. And then on the bolt it has that little square end right here. So as you'll see, the bolt fits perfectly into the hole, and with the hole being square, it actually fits with the bolt, so then it won't turn when you try to tighten down the nut that's on there. All right, so now I'm gonna take you guys in closer to get a closer look at the installation. All right, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do before we actually put the mount on the kayak is we're gonna wanna put the bolts on that we're gonna use to install the mount. So the bolts that it comes with, it's just these little short bolts we'll go through, and again, because that bolt or the hole has that square hole right here, that'll allow the bolt to fit in, and then that was a little tight. There we go. So just have to get the bolt into the hole itself so that square piece is in there. So just kind of turn it and pull it, and then as you turn it in, let me screw it down. There we go. So now I have the bolt actually in their little screw hole. So now it's not going to spin when I screw the nuts onto the mount itself. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the bolts in. All right, so I got all 4 bolts in. Yeah, so I'm not going to put the mount on just yet, but on the other side, you'd put your mount on first, and then the washer, and then it has a locking nut here. So I'm just going to put these on for now, because I'm still waiting on the mount for my motor, which you'll see shortly, so make sure you stay tuned. That video should be coming up fairly soon, so I'm just going to put these in for now. All right, so I've got all the nuts and the washers on for now. So now I can install this onto the kayak itself. All right, so we're gonna start with the front, I guess. This is kind of the front of the mount. And again, I'm gonna be using the 2 front holes that are here on the mount. You can see here's the, this is where the rudder plate would go. It is off because I had another motor installed on here prior with the different plates, but the plate is gonna go on like so, and then I'm just gonna match up the holes with this, and then take the screws that I did have to actually buy, but hopefully yours comes with it, and then just screw them down. I'm not gonna screw them down completely, so I'm gonna put the first one in. I'm not gonna screw it down all the way. It's just so I can get the other side in. And then I will kind of tighten them a little bit, but not completely, just so that I'll be able to adjust everything before I tighten everything down. So let me match this one up right now. All right, so I've got the first one in. It's not completely down because I want to be able to move this around and install the second one. So I've got the second one in. Let's see if it screws down. Yeah, so it screws down pretty good. So I'm gonna screw them down a little bit just so it doesn't come out. And you can see like there's actually some wiggle room where I can move it back and forth. So that's part of the reason why I'm not gonna fully tighten it down, so I can move it around as I install the back piece. So let's go ahead and get to the back. All right, so here's a view from the back. I just did this so you guys can have a better look of how the back piece will get installed. That's this piece right here. So the one thing to keep in mind is you'll notice one side there are circle holes, and then on the other side there are square holes. And the reason for that, it's the same as the mount itself. It's so that you can, with the bolts, it's got the little square in there. So the square will fit right into the hole. So it'll prevent the bolt from spinning when you're screwing the nut onto it. So the way to install this is it's gonna go like so. And then it comes with those 4 screws. So on the top, you kind of see here, like I showed you earlier, is you're just gonna take that screw and then screw it into the screws that are here on top. So where is my screwdriver? So what I'm gonna do is just start on one side. I'm gonna get the screw down so that it's just kind of popping out. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So then now I've got the screw popping out. I think you can see that. If not, it's just barely popping out. Now I can line it up with the hole here. Screw that down. And then I'm gonna just get the other side real quick. Do the same thing. So I'm just gonna screw it down. And I kind of line it up as I can. It should fit right in because they're lined up. There we go. So it's actually, is it even in there? It's not in there yet. Hold on. Yeah, so now it's actually in there. So now I'm gonna put the other two in. I'm not gonna put it in all the way. I'm just gonna have it so that it's actually inside of the mount itself. Again, these screws are the square screws. I may actually change them out. I might be stripping them, but seems okay for now. Once I put them in anyways, I think I'm not gonna ever take them out anyways, so it shouldn't really matter. All right, so I got screws, all 4 of the screws in. The top is recessed, so the screws will go right down. So now I gotta attach the back piece. Again, that's why I left the front side loose, so I can kind of move everything around and adjust as I need to. So the back piece is just this piece right here, and that's gonna go around the handle. And because I did not screw down the front, it makes it a little easier for me to adjust everything. So the bolt is gonna go in the back, and again, it's gotta line up with that square hole so it doesn't turn. And then this piece is gonna slide right on. Looks like I have to pull it down a little bit here to get on. Let's see. And we'll get the other piece. So what I would do is put both these on first and then cinch them down. Yeah, it's kind of, there we go. So kind of got to play with it a little bit. So the washer here, that would go on to here, and then you also have a locking nut right here. So I'm gonna actually kind of have to compress things down, because once I get the washer, or I'm sorry, when I get the bolt on there, I should be able to easily cinch it down. All right, so it did take a little bit to get these on. They're not tightened down just yet, but I did have to kind of push everything together in order to have everything line up right, so that I could just put the nuts on here. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll start cinching everything else down. There we go. So everything is now on. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down. I'm probably gonna start with the back here. I'll tighten this down, and then I will tighten the top that's connected to the rudder plate screws. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, guys, so I've got everything tightened down. Here's just kind of a look at what the mount looks like. You can see these are just the pieces that hook up to the back handle, and they're not in the way, so you could still use the handles and get to them. You can see it just attaches to the little piece that we screwed to the bottom of the actual mount here, and then those are the bolts there. You can kind of see them, but that's how it attaches. And then on the top here, you'll see the screws I put for the mounting plate, or the bolts. This is where the mounting plate will go on top, and then we'll bolt it down to the mount itself. And then here are the screws on the front that attach to the rudder plate area. So there's a whole look at the mount. It's pretty nice. This thing is pretty solid. Pretty happy with it. So we'll see how it works out when I get the motor installed and do my first on the water trial with it. So stay tuned for that video. All right, guys, so that was the install of the Tim Percy single motor mount on my Hobie Pro Angler 360. The mount's actually pretty solid. pretty happy with it so far. I haven't used yet, but it feels really solid, really rigid, and it should be able to handle the motor that I'm going to be putting on it. I haven't said what it is yet, but if you guys want to guess in the comments below of what it's going to be, comment what you think the motor is going to be in the comment section. But that'll be coming up fairly soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned. I'll show you how I'm going to do the install of that and the steering, and then we'll do an on-the-water demo of it as well. So if you guys have any comments or questions about the Tim Percy mount, let me know in the comment section below. So everything I use in the video will be in the video description below. I did purchase the Tim Percy mount from Delaware Paddle Sports. The great thing about purchasing from Delaware Paddle Sports is there's actually no sales tax, so you don't have to pay any tax. So you can save a little bit of money, especially when you're making bigger purchases. So I'd highly recommend you check them out. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe for future videos. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, got him. That was a bass.